why I keep doing that. Hello, everyone. Which way do I go? This way, this way. Let's see. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Wednesday night OWCP Chats with Chris and Gini.
Hey.
I know there's a lot of you that are new onto our site because I've seen a lot of you like and follow our page. And a lot
welcome.
of you... Yeah, welcome. And a lot of you have been asking us if this is the page. So this is the page.
If you're watching this, this is the page.
So what I'm going to do in the meantime, Christopher is talking, and now he just disappeared. And I think he's just trying to charge us back up. Okay, so why did we go dark?
I don't know.
I think you just sit down. We went really dark. Anyways, I'll see how it looks here. No, we're...
Okay.
I think we're good. Okay,
Hey,
so...
I'm back.
Today, we're going to be discussing this because all week, every week when we talk about a topic, we get people calling in, and this is why we talk about the topic. So, this week we've had multiple people asking why they're not getting paid on their CA7s.
Yeah.
What do they do if they don't get a CA17 from the supervisor? The CA16, I was talking to a federal employee over in Boston today about this CA16 issue that some agencies are saying you are not required to have a CA16, especially if you file a CA1.
Yeah.
So we're going to go over that. We're going to talk about why you should get FMLA, when to get it, and why it's that important. And then a few of you asked about when do you get MMI and when do you get a schedule award. So with that said, take notes. Don't forget to like, share, and follow us. Every week we're here at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we have some exciting stuff for the very end. So take it away.
So I don't know what order I'm going to go in, but I am going to start with this. Get on Twitter. Everybody go to Twitter and download the app. I've said this every week. Twitter's free. Go to your app store or your Google Play Store and download Twitter. And... get an account. It's like 4 or 5 really easy steps. They walk you right through it. And then go to @ Fed Injury Center and follow us there, because I post rules, laws, regulations, things that are helpful to you when you're in the moment you need it. When a supervisor is telling you one thing and you know what's wrong because you heard me say it, and you can show them the law. And so you need to have Twitter @Fed Injury Center. For whatever reason, a lot of people have some aversion to social media. I get it. So when you get on Twitter, don't follow anybody else but me. It sounds like a joke. I'm dead serious. If you hate social media, don't follow anybody else. You'll never see anything but this stuff. And then I won't post anything that wastes your time. I'll only post things that are helpful to you. I have a new post coming out soon. It'll be about OWCP and nothing more. You'll get a notification when I post something new, and that'll be that. If you don't get a notification, there's nothing new, don't go look. You won't waste your time. So get on there @Fed Injury Center, pass it on, tell all your friends. This is one of the key steps to preventing denied claims and preventing harassment by supervisors, preventing all the bad things that happen to you as a result of a work injury. The stuff that I post on there is because I've seen thousands of people with these problems, and we can address it. So that's how we do it. So @Fed Injury Center. You're looking at the top of Jeannie's head right now because she's working on the computer. This is fun. Hi, everybody. She's back.
Sorry. Okay, so I pinned our website page and my phone number, so it's going to stay on the bottom. So I pinned that at the bottom. And some of you are asking where we are. We are physically in Florida.
Yep.
In Clearwater, Florida.
In the great United States of America.
Oh, boy.
God bless America.
And everyone's saying, hello, hello. I just moved to Houston from Birmingham, Alabama. Fly Mommy, there is a great doctor out there, Dr. On.
That trained.
Chris trained. She's amazing.
She's
cute
a
and
straight
sweet.
up OWCP killer.
All right, so let's get you guys to share. I'm trying to see how many shares we have.
Yeah, so go ahead and do that right now. There's not very many people watching compared to what we're looking for. The reason is having nothing to do with me. I get no benefit out of extra views, but you do. So please tell your friends. Like I told you yesterday, you should have warned everybody this was coming. Start sharing, texting, emailing, calling, sending up smoke signals, like I said. Let everybody know this is happening because your federal friends and coworkers need this information. If you wait until you need it, it's too late.
Yep.
Because all the problems start happening on day one if you don't know how to prevent them, and that's what we're doing here. So our first topic, we're going to do...
Let's start off with CA7s.
Okay.
What a CA7 is and why it's important for those of you.
All right, so today, or this week, we talked to a lady who had a work injury, and Gini said, so did you get a CA1 or a CA2? And she said, well, I got a CA7. What's a 1 or 2?
She didn't even know what it was.
And
she didn't know what CA1 or CA2 was. She wasn't given one.
So here's a problem that we're trying to solve. Your supervisors often don't know either, okay? It's not that they all have bad intentions, although too many of them do. Some of them just really aren't trained. They know less than you do, and you've only been on here for like 3 minutes listening. And so when you get injured, you have to get a CA1 or 2. So I feel like I should tell you, a CA1 form is a form to report your injury that happens in a single shift. A CA2 is a form used to report your injury that happens over 2 or more shifts. So like sprains that happen from stepping down out of your vehicle, torn ligaments, dog bites, herniated discs that happen from lifting something heavy, that's a CA1. A CA2 would be like carpal tunnel syndrome, tendinitis, things that develop over a longer period of time. So you got to do that first. So this person's complaining that I'm not getting paid on my CA7s. What's up with that? Well, you didn't report your injury, so they don't have anything to go on. They're never going to pay you. Your injury doesn't exist. So you have to report your injury first. Don't let your supervisor be the dummy in the room and you follow. Okay? So you got to know you got to do this. A CA7 is how you get paid after your claim's accepted. Your claim only gets accepted after filling out forms, turning them in, and doing some other things. All right, with that said, what's up with the CA7? So a CA7 is called a claim for compensation. If you're out of work, you want to get paid. How do you get paid? So there's a couple of things on this. Number one, in order to get paid with a CA7, you have to have an accepted claim.
Yes.
If your claim is not accepted, if it's been denied, if it's under reconsideration, if it's under development, if the doctor hasn't completed a narrative yet, and if you haven't filled out your CA1 or CA2 yet, you can't get paid with a CA7. Okay? Bottom line. So the first question you should ask is my claim accepted? Has my claim been filed, actually, is your first question. Have I reported? Has it been filed? Has my claim been accepted? If all of those answers are yes, you should fill out a CA7 if you don't have continuation of pay to use. So, let's say that you're over your COP period, your 45 days, and you still want to get paid because the doctor's got you out of work for some reason and for some period of time. You fill out a claim for compensation, CA7. So side note, if you go to federalinjurycenters.com, that's Federal Injury Centers with an S, like written up here above us, there's a videos tab. And one of the videos is how to fill out a CA7 form, box by box. Our partner Tom went through and did this. It's really great. It's about 18-20 minutes long. You definitely would not be wasting your time to go to watch that video, because one of the reasons you don't get paid if you fill out a CA7 is you fill it out wrong. And so the next thing is, did I fill it out right, correctly? So go watch that video on CA7 claim for compensation. It's very, very useful. We put it out there so that you don't have this problem. So your claim has to be accepted, and you have to fill it out correctly. But then what? Because let's say you fill it out perfectly and your claim's accepted. You turn that in, right? You get denied. Why did you get denied? Okay, well here's why. You didn't attach any documentation. You can't assume the claims examiner knows everything that they should know. Okay, they really should already have this information. But you've got to attach documentation and send it all in with it. Here's what you had to attach, so write this down. A CA17 form, which I'll go over in more detail in a minute, but it's how your doctor takes you off of work. Attach a copy. You want to attach a copy of a CA20 form. All of these forms can be found at federalinjurycenters.com on the OWCP Forms tab. Okay, go there and print all these that you need. Don't feel lost. Just go to the website. We put them there so that it's easier for you. So a CA20 form, you got to attach a copy of that. Any appointments you had with a doctor or physical therapist or anybody, attach copies of those appointments, preferably copies of the documentation forms. Show your claims examiner that things were happening at the doctor's office. You didn't just go to watch TV in the reception room, you know. So attach documentation. And lastly, a narrative report, which can be just a paragraph long, from the doctor explaining why you're off work. Okay, which seems redundant with the CA 17 and 20, but do it. It works. So you attach your 17, attach your 20, copies of your doctor's appointments, preferably doctor's notes, and a narrative explaining why you're off of work. Attach all of that to your CA7 before you turn it in. When you turn that in, you'll likely get paid. If you don't, they'll give you a letter in the mail explaining why it was denied. You'll figure that out and you'll fix it. If you ever have a question about why something was denied, let me read your letter. Be happy to. We can help you out with that. So that's a CA7, claim for compensation. But you got to get your claim accepted. No forms are valid until your claim's accepted. Okay, that's really important. Any questions on that coming in?
Okay, so we got, oh boy, my phone is not doing well today.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, there was one. They're liking your beard.
Oh, you like that? That's my pre-Halloween beard. It's going to get scarier.
Chris Gorman says, if your doc says they won't work with Fed OWCP, do you have to pay them out of pocket, then submit a form for reimbursement to OWCP?
That guy's name is Chris?
Yes.
Man, if your doctor won't accept OWCP, go to the next doctor. It's too much of a hassle. That's something I want to talk about, so since he brought it up, I'll be glad to talk about it here. You've got to choose an OWCP doctor. People go to their family doctors, they go to their chiropractors that they love, they think they need an orthopedic surgeon, so they go there, big mistake. They go to urgent care, walk-in clinics, ERs. They go to VA doctors. Too many of you are doing that. Because all 6 categories of doctors I just listed will almost always get your claims denied. Why? Because they're not trained in OWCP. They don't know the first thing about it. They don't write narratives that meet the standard for getting claims accepted. And that's a serious problem for you. You've got to choose correctly because now they're doing some things to you. The rule says you have the right to initial selection of physician, meaning first. It also says that your supervisor can't choose your doctor for you. It also says that you can't be forced to go to the company doctor or to any doctor who's employed by or contracted with the agency, meaning VA doctors. You can't be forced to go to any of those doctors. And that's a benefit to you because it gives you an opportunity to take some thoughtful time to select an OWCP doctor. And to do that, you got to call around and you got to ask, do you take OWCP? Well, what's that? Crap. All right. Do you take federal workers' comp? Well, we don't take workers' comp. Can I talk to your billing manager? Billing manager, do you do DOL? Yes, we do DOL. Okay, great. Do you know how to do billing? You have to ask some questions. Does your doctor write good narratives? What's your claims acceptance rate? Does your doctor know how to get claims accepted? If they don't know the answers to these things, call somebody else.
Yeah.
If you call me and any of the offices that we're associated with and you said, hey, what's your claims acceptance rate? I'd say, well, very nearly 100%. Ding, 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 ding. That's where you want to go. It's not a sales ploy for federal interest centers or our doctors, but, hell, if you like deny claims, go to the other doctors. But you got to ask the questions. So I would not willingly go to a doctor who won't take OWCP because you can go to this website called ACS.
Yeah.
And they have this provider search. And I'll tell you in advance, this sucks. ACS is not a good deal for you. But it'll give you the ability. You search OWCP ACS, and then you click on the web build processing portal on Google. About midways down, there's a thing that says provider search. You go through all the choices. Be sure you select FICA in the first box after you accept their terms. And then just go and search for doctors. You may get 1 or 10 pages of doctors, and you may call 1 or 20 doctors, and may get no doctors that will accept OWCP. But you might. If you're in any of the areas we're at, you're going to find at least one because we're there. So I would just do what it takes to try to find an OWCP doctor because when you don't, all hell breaks loose. The worst problems happen as a result of going to the wrong doctors. It's a bad system for you, but that's why we try to train doctors all over.
Yeah.
The other thing you can do is go to Google and do a Google search, okay? And this is how you search. It's very important you do it like this. You search OWCP, injury doctor, and your city and state. So like we're in Clearwater, so it'd be OWCP doctor or OWCP injury doctor, Clearwater, Florida. Okay, that's a long search. Okay, but any doctor that wants to help you will be found with that search. So that's your search: OWCP injury doctor, Clearwater, Florida, or your city and state. If you don't find one, you can call us. We'll be happy to help. But understand, we don't always know doctors that are near you. And sometimes we make suggestions of doctors that are out of your state. Don't get mad. It happens too much. We get people are angry. Like, that's too far. Well, I understand. I know it's a pain in the butt to drive that far. But a denied claim is worse.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you suggestions of where we know you will win. You don't have to take them, okay? We never force you to go. We'll give you a phone number or a website. You choose. If you choose not to, no problem, okay? But we will try to help, so always ask if you need the help.
All right, let me get through some questions here. Karen Ruland says, my claim was accepted in September, still no checks.
All right, well, Karen, remember what I said. CA7 attached with all that documentation. Also, if they're not paying you, there should have been a letter in the mail explaining why. If you didn't get a letter in the mail explaining why, and you turned the CA7 into your supervisor, maybe the supervisor didn't turn it in. But they have 5 days from the day you give it to them to turn it into DOL. So you're going to have to just check back and say, what happened. When you turn it into your supervisor, because they got to fill out the second page, keep a copy. Just get copies of everything. Because once a supervisor fills that stuff out, you can actually take those 2 pieces of CA7, attach all the documentation, and e-comp it yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't know how to e-comp, go to Google and search OWCP e-comp, C-O-M-P. It'll take you to a website, you register, you can start just sending your own stuff in. That's the surest way to guarantee your stuff gets there.
Yeah. Lori McNiff, my claim was accepted but not my back pay. I filled out my CA7 and they sent a letter saying I was able to go on light or limited duty because my doctor said I couldn't, but there's no light or limited duty for me as a roll carrier.
Yeah, I've heard that. That's really bad. But if the agency won't give you work, then you have no choice but to be off of work. And so what would be ideal for you is to get some documentation, something in writing from the agency saying we don't have work for you, or you're a rural carrier, we don't have to give you work. Because, you didn't mean to get hurt. It wasn't on purpose. You deserve to get paid. So get that documentation and send that in with your CA7. Same thing with your back pay. Use the documentation from the agency to get paid.
Yeah.
Because then a claims examiner is likely going to call the agency and say, hey, figure it out. Get them back to work.
Yeah, Fly Mommy. Yeah, there's
Fly Mommy.
There's 4, like you, Chris said. She said I'm filling out my CA7 and 7A, so I need to also attach a CA20. Yes.
Yes, please. Every time attach a CA20.
Attach those 4 things that Chris has mentioned to your CA7, guys. This is a lot of why you're not getting your pay. So please pay attention.
And check it out. It's kind of a hassle, but not getting paid is a bigger hassle. Your doctor may say it's a hassle to fill out the form, but the doctor gets paid for the form. So suck it up, doc. Fill out the form.
Yeah, Rosalind, we went over this as a huge topic. She said, if you are denied for work comp, and can you ask for an extension to wait for additional paperwork before a hearing?
Yeah, you can just, if you're denied, request reconsideration, okay, instead of an oral hearing. Listen, an oral hearing is a total waste of your time. Do reconsideration. You have 12 months to reconsider. That gives you plenty of time to get new information. And the only way to reconsider is if you have new information. So the only thing that makes sense for you is reconsideration. So on the appeal request form, check reconsideration. Oral hearings are a waste of time, okay? Review the written record, waste of time. ECAB, waste of time. You can do reconsiderations every 12 months after denials. And infinitely, it never ends, as long as you have new information. And new information is anything your doctor fills out after reading your denial letter and responding to that denial letter with a new narrative.
Yeah.
That's new information.
Okay. I know there's a lot of you asking a lot of personal questions on your own, but we're going to come back to it. If we don't come back to it now, we'll respond to it after. Or you can message us privately on the Facebook Messenger. So let's move on to the next topic.
And we will get to it, but there's a lot of you, so be patient with us,
Yeah,
please.
one of you, I think it was...
Fly Mommy's downloading Twitter.
Good.
That's what I'm talking about.
Wayne Mitchell, you said, could we give a brief description on Schedule Award? We actually are going to be covering that tonight.
Yeah, that's coming, so hang in there.
All right, go ahead. Next topic.
What we got? What's the next topic?
Did you do CA 17?
17s. Okay. So a CA 17 is a duty status report. This is the form your doctor uses to take you off of work, restrict your duties, or send you back to work. And so you got to get a CA 17 from your supervisor as soon as you're injured. And it varies points along the way because the doctor may want to have new ones and fill out new ones. So the supervisor has to give you the 17. Side A, it's kind of divided down the middle. The left side, side A, is for the supervisor. They fill out their part. Side B is for the doctor. They fill out their part. Once it's 100% complete, it goes back to your supervisor. That's how they know what you can do. Now, when you have a CA 17 that sends you back to work at, say, a limited capacity, now it's on the agency to find limited duty work for you that's within 50 miles of your home. That's critical. We've had some people here in Florida that want to send you 56 miles away, which is just kind of being a jerk. So the rule says 50 miles, and if you're on Twitter, you'll see that, at Fed Injury Center. And if they can't find something near your home, 50 miles isn't near, but you see what I'm saying. They have to put it in writing what they did, what efforts they made to attempt to find work close to home. So, but that CA-17 is how you get a limited duty offer. The doctor fills that out. Here's what's happening though. When your claim's not accepted yet, or let's say it gets denied and you're under reconsideration, there's a lot of supervisors that are saying we don't have to accept that 17. So you're stuck because technically your claim's not accepted, and the doctor's doing what they can to restrict your duties so that you don't get hurt worse. There's another form called an OWCP 5C. Okay, the OWCP 5C can also be found at federalinjurycenters.com on the OWCP Forms tab. Have your doctor fill that out and turn that in. At least it's something, because the supervisor can't ever say, well, I don't have to take that form. They got to do something. They have to accept it. If your doctor wrote an off work note, they take that, you know. So don't give up. The OWCP 5C is kind of an alternative to the CA-17. And so if your supervisor won't give you a 17, they refuse to give it to you, then print one out yourself from my website, and with a black Sharpie, write supervisor, put their name, you know, John, refused to give me a 17 on side A, and let the doctor fill out side B and then turn that back in.
Rosalind, you just asked that about what if they don't fill out side A, so this is what you should do.
Yeah, if they refuse to fill out side A, just tell the truth. I love this. Okay. Tell the truth. With a Sharpie, on side A with a Sharpie, just tell the truth. Supervisor John refused to fill this out. That's it. It gets turned back into the supervisor, a copy goes to the claims examiner, and they'll let them sort it out themselves. But, you know, and file a grievance. You know, supervisors don't get to be a jerk, so just, well, they do. But don't let it happen. So file a grievance. But that's what you do with a 17.
Yeah, Fly Mommy, you said a doctor can't fill out a CA-17 without the supervisor's information.
You can.
He can, and you have to do exactly what the doctor has to do, what Chris said, and you need to let the doctor know.
So here's the thing about medical doctors. They make all the decisions. Your supervisor makes 0 decisions. None. Their only decision is, you know, do I sign with my left or right hand? And do I, you know, turn it in? But the doctor makes all the calls. So a doctor can definitely fill out side B. And oftentimes these doctors have experience. They know what a letter carrier's job is and what a clerk's job and a mail handler's job and a VA nurse's job and a TSA worker's job. They know what their jobs are because they've done this over and over. So, you know, they know what the job description requires already. They can definitely fill that out, and you just make the supervisor famous for being a jerk.
Yeah, Rosalind said, I put empty and the postmaster filled it in after I turned it in.
Hey.
Yep.
Somebody's got to do it, so good for you for making it happen.
Yes, Jack, everyone in the agency can be a jerk. We know.
Yeah, we know.
Fly Mommy, oh, okay, he told me DOL would send it back, that it wouldn't get accepted. That's not true.
Well, he's not an OWCP expert.
Yeah. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about are CA-16s. So today, was it today? Yeah, today, I got a message from a friend, and I'm not going to say, and he said that he spoke to DOL himself, and DOL told him not all agencies are required to give you a CA-1 when you are filing your CA-1. Did I say that right? Not all agencies are required to give you a CA-16 when you file a CA-1.
The claims examiner said that?
No, DOL said that to him.
Well, I don't know who that was, but send them back to, you know, basic training.
We've talked to all state presidents, and obviously they know a lot, and they all tell us when they're filing a CA1, they can file a CA16.
But even if I didn't talk to a single state president, I read the law.
Yeah.
And the law specifically says that they're required to give it to you if you report your CA1 claim within 7 days of the injury. And when you report your injury within 7 days of the injury, they have 4 hours to give it to you. The law is very specific.
4.
The law's very specific. It doesn't say they have 4 hours and maybe give it to you. And there's no place in the law that says there may be a time where they don't have to give it to you. That's just wrong. A CA16 is your right. It's the law. It pays your bills, your medical bills for the first 60 days at a time where your claim's definitely not approved. And so you want your bills paid at a time where your claim is definitely not approved, because the alternative is you pay it out of your pocket. And when you pay it out of your pocket, too often it puts you in a financial bind. And, people are having to make decisions on their health based on money. The CA16 is there so you don't make money decisions for your health. It's there to pay for it. It's the law. It's your right. And when you don't get one, file a grievance. Okay, file a grievance on everything that you can, but definitely on the CA16. The more of these you file nationwide, the less of these will not be given out.
Yeah.
All right, we got to have these things given out. So a CA16 pays your medical bills for 60 days if you have a CA1 claim that's filed within 7 days. These time frames get confusing, but that's the deal. Never, ever leave the room when you're reporting your injury to your supervisor. Don't leave the room without a CA16.
When filing a CA1?
Yeah, so go to federalinjurycenters.com and get a form CA10, what a federal employee should do when injured at work. And you'll notice the first thing says report to your supervisor. The second thing says get a CA16. It comes even before fill out a CA1.
Yeah.
The second step is get a CA16. Step 3 is get a CA1. So what do you think that's all about? Why are they in that order? Because it's important. But when you don't get a CA16, it's because you made an effort not to get one, because it's your right and you should fight for that. And if you don't fight for it, then you're kind of complicit in not having it. It's your right to have it.
So that's what a CA16 is. So we went over a CA7. I listed the 4 things that you need to attach in order to get paid, because some of you are saying that your cases are getting denied, accepted, and then now you're not getting paid. We went over what a CA17 was. What do you do when the supervisor doesn't want to fill out Side A? It's okay, take it to the doctor and write what Chris said to write in it, which is?
Supervisor John refused to fill this out.
Okay, and then a CA16, you get it only for a CA1 injury.
If you report within 7 days.
Right, and remember you have 4 hours to get it from
4
them.
hours and 1 minute, file a grievance.
File a grievance, hashtag file a grievance.
Even if you get it in 4 hours and 2 minutes, they're late. It doesn't say get it somewhere around 4 hours. It says within 4 hours. So just file grievances. Your supervisors need to start getting on the ball. This form is so important because it pays bills at a time where your claim is not accepted yet. You can't accept not having the form. All right, so just don't do that to yourself.
Yeah, Karen, you said when you got injured, your supervisor refused to give you a CA1, then you called your union president. He immediately called my supervisor, and the supervisor quickly handed me the paperwork. Of course, always, 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 when they're telling you no, you can't file a CA1, there's rules behind that. There's laws to put them in trouble.
Well, here's what it says. It says that any person responsible for filing OWCP claims who prevents a claim from being filed can be fined or imprisoned. When they won't give you the form, they're preventing your injury from being filed. All right, that's a law that they're breaking. And OSHA says that your 6th right on OSHA's list of employee rights is the right to report a work injury. And they say that it's a crime to prevent you from filing a work injury. And so if your supervisors refuse to give you a CA1 or 2, contact OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA, and say, is this a violation? They won't let me report my injury. Is that a violation? It's a violation. Okay, believe me, we know of a supervisor and a postmaster who were fired. We know of another comp person who was relocated, and these people were screwing around with the people. All right, and those people started fighting back. They started doing what we're telling them, and they got results. This stuff isn't happening anymore there. So 1-800-321-OSHA.
Right. A shout out to Tracy Robinson. She says, I can't participate because I'm on the floor, but I'm taking notes.
That's what
awesome.
I'm saying.
She's at work taking notes. Mimi King, you said, so after you request a CA16, who signs it?
Well, a supervisor, the top person in your agency, like a postmaster or somebody like that, an HR person, an injury comp person, somebody in charge has to sign it.
Yeah.
You can't sign it. I can't sign it. Your coworkers can't sign it. Somebody in charge.
Heather, my accident was in April. Tonight is the first time I've heard of a CA-16. We hear that all the time, that you guys learned that from here.
Hey, Heather, when was the first time you ever watched us? I'm curious. Is this your first time?
No, I know Heather.
Oh.
No. We've been helping her at one of the places.
Heather, I say this every week.
Mimi King.
Anyways, it's fine. We're going to help you.
Mimi King wants to know, what if they refuse to give you the CA-16? Remember,
file a grievance.
CA-16 you only get in the first 7 days, only on a CA-1 injury.
You have to report your CA-1 claim within 7 days, and then they have 4 hours to give it to you. That's in the Code of Federal Regulations. If you're on Twitter, at Fed Injury Center, that's on Twitter. You can find it there. It's very important because when you're in front of your supervisor reporting your injury, filling out your forms, and they say, I don't have to give you a CA-16, wouldn't you love to be able to hold your phone up and say, but the Code of Federal Regulations says you have 4 hours, and I just requested it. So you're on the clock, buddy.
Slap them with the rules in
That's
the face.
why we tell you to get on Twitter. It's not for me, it's for you. I get nothing out of you. Like, I often don't ever go look at my Twitter because I know what's there. I put it there. It's for you. Okay, so get on Twitter, at Fed Injury Center. Go through it. There's not that many things there. Spend 10 minutes just browsing what I've got posted there, so that when it comes up, you'll say, yeah, I know I saw that there. That's all you got to do, is just know that you saw it, so you can go back to it and find it.
See?
It's so important.
Evans Juice, he pays attention to us because
he
just said, if they're retaliating against you, you can call OSHA. What you can do besides a grievance. So yes, definitely contact OSHA.
The other thing you can do if they won't give you a 16 is file an EEO claim. Because if you have an EEO complaint, it's because they're not treating you fairly. And you have a work injury, there are these things, and they're preventing you from being able to take care of yourself financially. That may be a violation. You should call EEO and ask if that's a violation. If it is, do something about it.
Yeah. Kim wants to know, how long until I get a claim number?
That varies. The supervisor has 10 days from the day you turn in your form and fill it out to turn it into DOL. And from there, it usually takes a couple of weeks. So after a couple of weeks, you should be calling your claims examiner and finding out what the heck's going on. To get a claim number, that doesn't mean your claim's accepted. It just means there's a number. It's a 9-digit number. It's like a filing number. That's it.
All right. And Mimi King says, what if you leave the job after you fill out a CA-1 and a statement because you want to go to get a doctor? Not sure what you mean by that.
Yeah, maybe clarify that for us. We'll answer that.
Jack, Evans Juice was saying, if they're going to retaliate against you for filing for your injury, you can call OSHA. Yeah,
OSHA's got strict laws on this. Retaliating against you for filing an injury is definitely against the rules. So you contact OSHA, 1-800-321-OSHA, and say, they're retaliating against me for filing an injury. Is that a violation? Always call respectfully, just ask the question, is this a violation?
Yeah.
If it's not, then there's no harm done. But if it is, they're going to do something about it.
All right, Wayne Mitchell says, I don't remember getting a CA-16 and I'm 13 months into my approved case with surgery scheduled next week. Am I too late?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to get it within 7 days. If they didn't give it to you, then you're not going to get it. It's by rule.
Yeah, plus you have your case approved.
But you can file, your case is approved, but you can go back and maybe, I don't know if you can file a grievance. Normally you have like 2 weeks or something to file, but check into it.
Yes. Keith, is a CA-1 need to be filled out on the spot and the time frame?
Oh, that's so good, Keith. Listen, the CA-10, what a federal employee should do when injured at work, says report your injury as soon as possible. It hasn't been revised since 1987. So for the last 32 years, they've been telling people as soon as possible. But that means different things to different people. To me, it means now. Like, now. Immediately. Now. So what you should do if you're hurt is drop everything and go straight to your supervisor. Or if you're out on a route, drop everything and call your supervisor. Immediately report and then get in there and fill out the forms now. Request your CA-16 now and put them on a 4-hour clock.
Yeah. And then you have 3 years to file.
Yeah, okay, so time frames. You do have 3 years to file.
3 years?
3. We get so many people saying, 3 days, 2 weeks, 30 days. None of those things are real. You have 3 years to report, but these time frames are important because if you report within 7, you can have a CA-16. If you will report within 30 days, you can have continuation of pay. But if you report within 3 years, you can get medical attention. Okay, and you can get reimbursed for all the money you paid out of your pocket, and you can get all of your time back that you used.
John, we're going to talk about this nurse case management thing at the end.
Yeah,
that's coming.
We got some stuff on that that's really making me angry. We'll deal with that.
Yeah, Wayne Mitchell, we are coming. We will be in Ohio next year. So I know you said you're waiting, but we are coming.
Month.
Ohio?
Yeah.
No,
November.
No. For us to go to Ohio to open.
Oh, yeah, we're going to
open our Federal Injury Centers of Ohio or Dayton or whatever.
But we're going to be there.
But we're going to be there next month with the rural carriers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come say hi.
Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is FMLA. I know a lot of you right now have been asking about FMLA. Why is it so important for you guys to get FMLA? So, here goes.
Yeah, so that's Family Medical Leave Act. In order to file for FMLA, you got to have the forms, and you can just go to Google and search FMLA forms and print them out yourself. Some people say, well, I didn't get one. Well, just go get one, okay? I always say, if you're at a red light forever, what are you going to do? Like, eventually you have to go to the bathroom or get hungry, right? So you probably run the light. This is like the red light. You don't need anybody to give it, to you. Go get it for yourself. So go to Google, search FMLA forms. And you take that to the doctor and let them fill it out, and you give that to your supervisor, HR person, injury comp, whoever you report to with this stuff. But what an FMLA does, FMLA, Family Medical Leave, is it protects you. It's a federal law. The Act, the A is Act, federal law. And so it protects you if you need to be out of work to take care of yourself or for someone else, a family member, who's sick or injured. And so when your claim isn't accepted, and you need to be off of work and you're scared to get fired, FMLA. When you have sick and annual leave but don't want to use it, FMLA. If you have a CA-17 and your claim is accepted, you don't need FMLA. So it's not infinite. I forget how many days you get, like 90 or 120?
120.
Yeah, 120 days, give or take. Check with your agency, because I do know that not every agency is different, which was a surprise to me, but that's how it is. So it's not infinite. You only can use what you've got on an annual basis, whatever the max number of days is. But when you use FMLA, you can also use your sick and annual leave to get paid while you're off, but they have to keep your job or a job at the same level at the same pay.
Yep.
They can't fire you. It's bottom line. So family medical leave is important for people who don't have accepted claims, therefore don't have CA-17s that can protect their job yet. So use family medical leave if you have to be away from work. But I always say this, and this is a medical decision, and I'm not the doctor, but the surest way to get paid and protect your job is to go to work and clock in. So anytime you get a chance, if your doctor can send you to work at some capacity so you can be there and clock in, I recommend trying it, because you're there, you're making an effort. And when you clock in, they have to pay you, which means also you don't have to fill out that CA-7 form later, because you're getting paid, okay? Federal pay laws are absolute. You have to get paid if you're on the clock. So just keep that in mind too. Try to go to work. Some people are like, I kind of want to take some time off. Well, I'm trying to protect your job. So if you can work, go to work. Don't hurt yourself. That's a doctor's decision. But let your doc know, hey, give me some restrictions that I can go to work with. But if you have to be out and your claim's not accepted, use FMLA, and that'll protect your job.
Yeah.
Until you can get your claim accepted.
All right, Canetta, can I be reimbursed for paying to have FMLA filled out?
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you can be reimbursed for anything that's related to OWCP. So if you go to the doctor and need an x-ray, if you go to physical therapy, or you get an MRI, or you have to get some prescription medications. But unfortunately, a FMLA form is not an OWCP form. And so I don't think, look, you can try. You can't get in trouble for making the attempt. There's a form called an OWCP 915, and the 915 form also can be found on our website, federalinjurycenters.com. So you can always try. You don't get in trouble for making an effort. Hey, if that's your red light, run it.
All right, Vicky Davenport says, should I get FMLA after I go back to work in case I have problems after the doctor releases me?
You get FMLA only when you need to be out of work. Don't fill it out if you're at work.
Yeah.
You can have it filled out ready to go. Don't turn it in. Okay, because your days off are not infinite.
Keith, does Wounded Warrior leave count for just the doctor appointment? Does it cover if the VA doctor puts you off because of the service connect disability for days?
Yeah, so that's not related to OWCP, but I can tell you that that leave is going to be almost anything health related. I think you're going to be fine. That's something I want to look up. So I'll learn some more about that and see if I can answer that question more intelligently next time. But that's not an OWCP question, which is why I'm not an expert at it, but I'm going to get that way. Thanks for asking that.
Okay, so a lot of you are getting, I mean, this is like huge. Every week you guys want us to talk about this. So we're going to go ahead and cover MMI, when to get it, why you get it, and where you should get it done. We're also going to cover schedule award. I know a lot of you are asking, what is the time frame for an MMI or schedule award? So we're going to go over it detail. If you need to, at the end of the video, at the end of Facebook Live, need to go back over and watch it and share it, you can. So
and share this. You know, it's not too late to share. Let your coworkers know what's going on here. Don't hoard the information to yourself. If I could like reach out and grab another 10,000 people now, I would. But that's your job. Okay, I can only do this. So invite people to watch this. The schedule award thing is really important. I talked to too many people who have a rateable injury and never even heard of schedule award, didn't even know that they were eligible. And that's a shame because that's just money in your pocket. You went through the trouble of getting hurt, you went through the trouble of getting better, and you didn't get the settlement. What a shame.
Yep.
That's what a schedule award is. It's money, okay? They pay it right to you, and it's yours. You earned it as being a federal employee. It is your right, okay? The law said so. So, schedule award is money paid to you if you have an injury that can get an impairment rating. Injuries of the spine are not rateable unless they cause injuries into your arms, hands, legs, feet, etc. But a lot of other things are. There's a schedule of awards that talk about which things and show you which body parts can get an impairment rating. And it gives you a schedule of weeks of payment. If you go to Google and search OWCP Schedule Award Chart, you can see it for yourself. It's the first thing on Google. And it's a long chart. And you can look at your body part and you can get the maximum rating that could be given to you. So what has to happen is your doctor, your medical doctor, or DO, which is like an MD, not chiropractor. We love chiros. They have lots of value in federal workers' comp, but not for this. They can't do impairment ratings. They can assist with impairment ratings, but the MD's got to sign off ultimately.
Yeah.
So the MD's got to determine that you're at maximum medical improvement, which is MMI.
Hold on. So Shirley, you're asking, once you get MMI, is there a time limit to apply for your schedule award? So pay attention. He's talking about the MMI going into the schedule award.
Well, no, there's not a time limit, but I don't know why you wouldn't do it, yesterday. If you're at MMI, get it done. This is your money. But, if you want to have more detailed information about how to get your schedule award done right now, Gini will also post Eric Blauer's phone number on here at the end.
He's great.
He's a lawyer friend of ours that specializes in schedule awards. You don't always need lawyers, but when you do, he's your guy. So I want to be a resource to you, but I want to give him to you as well, so we'll do that at the end. But I recommend getting it done right away. So your doctor puts you at MMI, maximum medical improvement. This means that you're as good as you're ever going to get. You've had all the treatments you can get, maybe you had surgery, maybe you refused surgery. And as a result of everything that's happened, this is as good as it's ever going to be. Maybe that means you're at 100%, you're all the way back. Or maybe it means you have a severe deficit or something in between. Your MMI, maximum medical improvement, is like the trigger for doing an impairment rating. And so an impairment rating done by your medical doctor determines your level of impairment. That level of impairment is then plugged into OWCP's formula, and at that point they determine a schedule award impairment rating percentage. And that percentage equates to dollars. Okay, so your doctor's got to put you at MMI. I wouldn't try to rush that. People say, well, gosh, I just want to be at MMI then. Well, I want you to get all the way better. So if your doctor says you're not at MMI yet, keep going, okay? Because, money's good, but health is better. Now, that's just my opinion. It's only mine. It doesn't have to be yours. But MMI does mean maximum medical improvement. It's as good as you can get. If your doctor thinks you can get better and you go to your doctor angry because he won't do an MMI, and your doctor says, but you can get better, that's the deal, okay? So that's how you get MMI, is the doctor's got to say, you can't get better. Once that happens, you get a schedule award. You turn that in with your CA7 claim for compensation. At the top, letter D says schedule award. You check it, attach your impairment rating, and turn them in together. Oftentimes, Department of Labor will deny it. They will send it to a second opinion doctor. You have to go to the second opinion doctor. Whatever comes out of that, you go back to your treating doctor and say, hey, look what they did. What are we going to do about it, right? And have that doctor react to what happens. But ultimately, once it's approved, you start getting paid. So that's schedule award. For more information on that, I would like you to call Eric Blowers, and she's going to give you his phone number at the end, because he's a genius at this stuff. And when you run into trouble where they won't pay you, he's definitely the guy you want, even more than you want me.
Yeah, I'm going to try, see what happens is for some reason the business page of Facebook doesn't allow us to invite a friend. So what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to let you guys know way in advance to come on my personal page, and then I'll share it onto the Wednesday night chats, and I'll bring Eric on before the end of the year. I was discussing this too with him.
Yeah.
So we're going to bring him back on, and we're going to talk about 3 things that he's a master of: MMI, schedule award, and personal injury for federal employees only. He's a great attorney.
And everyone that uses him loves him.
Yeah.
He's an ex-federal employee himself. He understands where you're coming from. He specializes in your things that you're going through. And we use him personally in our business. We love him. There are other federal workers' comp lawyers, though. I don't have any problem with you going to them. They all know about this stuff, too. You can just Google OWCP lawyer, and you'll find one. But we like Eric. That's it. There are other ones, so don't feel like I'm pushing somebody onto you.
Yeah.
If you go to Google, you can find another dozen federal lawyers.
Just make sure it's a federal lawyer.
Yeah, but it wouldn't offend me at all to go someplace else. But we like Eric, so we tell you about it.
All right, so there's a lot of MMI and schedule award questions, so here we go. Why isn't the spine covered?
I don't know. I think that's the most ridiculous. I know. I don't know, but I want to give you the answer. I think it's the most ridiculous thing in OWCP that they don't rate the spine. I think, honestly, because they know if they did, they'd be paying out a ton of money, because there's a lot of spinal injuries. That's my guess.
Shit ton of money.
Yeah, shit ton of money. Because there's a lot of spinal injuries. I think it's terrible, because the 6th edition to permanent impairment has a rating for spine, but DOL doesn't honor that.
Yeah.
No good reason. I can't give you a good answer. Nothing that makes any sense.
Is that MMI for strictly federal or state or both?
Well, we're just talking about federal, but MMI is a thing that state workers' comp doctors do as well, and it always means maximum medical improvement, and it always has to happen before you can get your impairment rating.
Can you be at MMI and still have work restrictions?
Yes.
Canetta, there's your answer.
Yeah, you can. In fact, oftentimes, there's a lot of people that get permanent restricted duty. Hopefully that answers your question a little more thoroughly.
Rocky says, what if you're sent for an MMI, then ended up needing surgery 2 weeks later? Repair failed.
Yeah, so you weren't at MMI if surgery made you better. So what will happen is you can go back and have your MMI, your impairment rating, modified.
Terry says, my doctor said that there is no impairment rating with the post office because they do not subscribe to that portion of workers' comp.
Your doctor needs to be trained by Chris Helms. We could fix that.
Yeah. Let me know where you're at, Terry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No disrespect for the doctor at all, but that doctor's wrong.
Angela, please message me and I'll give you the doctor that Chris trained in Vienna, Virginia. It's your choice if you choose to go, and we have no say out of any of the doctors that Chris has trained. That's not federal injury centers. We don't have a say if they charge for impairment ratings, narratives, or what. So when we send you to a doctor, we have no control, because a lot of you will call and say, oh my God, this doctor, said that, you guys said that the doctor isn't going to charge, and they're charging me $450 or $1,500. No, that's not what we said. Our doctor with federal injury centers won't charge.
And a lot of the doctors I train won't. I want to tell you something real quick. I hate even using that word. I tell you about doctors you could go to. I don't require you to go to them. You definitely don't have to. I train these doctors on purpose because I know that you're, in some cases, just totally in hell when it comes to trying to find a doctor. So I go to these different areas and I try to train doctors to help you. In that training, I train them to not charge you any money out of your pocket, but I don't run their offices. If they charge you and you're unhappy, you should understand that I'm also unhappy. I don't like it. And if those doctors are watching right now, you hear me saying it, and you knew better. So I don't like it when they charge you. But you then got to weigh it out. Do I want to pay that bill or keep with my denied claim? And so it's the rock and the hard place. I don't like it, okay? Our doctors at federal injury centers never take a penny from anybody ever. Most of the doctors that I know that are spectacular that I trained are just the same. They wouldn't dream of taking your money because they put their money where their mouth is. They know they'll get everything accepted. But some people come from a really long distance and go to a doctor, and the doctor, I think, probably is just thinking wrong. You know, he's not looking at it from the right direction and wants to charge you for their time because they think it's not valuable to them. I'm sorry about that. But at that point, you got to make a personal decision on whether or not you want to. And hey, I'm not offended if you don't go. Believe me, I trained them not to do that.
Susan,
and if any of you are listening that I trained you and you're taking money from the patients, I told you.
Susan, in Oklahoma, Chris knows of a doctor named Dr. Ellis at the Ellis Clinic.
I didn't train him, but
no.
Man.
He's supposed to be the OWCP guru.
Yeah.
But so it's called Ellis Clinic. If you Google ellisclinic.com, you can actually schedule your appointment online with him. So that's the only person that we know in Oklahoma.
Now, Dr. Ellis, I've heard, now if Dr. Ellis says otherwise, I apologize up front. I've heard he does charge money for impairment ratings and narratives and those things. But I also know he's got like a 100% success rate.
Yeah.
So he gets the job done. And the doctors I train do as well. So if you end up paying, I'm sorry, but
it'll be worth it in the long run.
It's better than a denied claim.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. I don't like it, but it's better than a denied claim because I definitely hate those.
Keith said, "You peeps are like the watch pocket on a pair of jeans. Great for every federal worker." Thank you.
The watch pocket on a pair of jeans. Hey, that's awesome. Can I quote you?
I know. M said, "I reached MMI twice in 1995, but the doctor wouldn't give me a rating. And recently, I reached MMI for my elbows and had a second opinion. Still haven't gotten a rating."
Pick another doctor.
Easy as that.
We'll help you with that if you need help. We'll try to help you. I mean, obviously, I can't guarantee it, but we know people that fly across the country for this stuff.
Kim says, "Spine is only covered if it affects arms and legs."
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Exactly right, Kim.
Does the spine include head pain from neck injury?
I'm not a doctor. The head pain could be a thing you can get impairment rating on. The neck injury, definitely not.
Can you change your OWCP doctor after your claim has been approved?
I'm super glad you asked that. Let's table that because that's my last topic. If we have other scheduled award deals questions, let's answer those. I'm going to get back to that. Trust me. Hang in there.
Go ahead. You can go ahead and answer the question.
Okay, well, I'm going to talk all about choosing a doctor then.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The time.
Because my last topic is about choosing a doctor. So I mentioned earlier, choose the right doctor. If you choose the wrong doctor, it's a denial waiting to happen. Anybody that's watched this more than a few times knows that 1 out of 13 federal employees has an accepted claim. 1 out of 13. You all know that at least half of you are hurt. Somebody right now is probably going to go, "Hey, no, it's not half. You're a supervisor. This isn't for you." I think probably about half of people, and when I do surveys, that's about what I get. I hear 80% to 100, but we usually settle on half. So if half of you are hurt, that's like 6 or 7 out of 13, but only 1 out of 13 has an accepted claim. It's a serious problem, and it starts with picking the wrong doctor. It actually starts with you not knowing what to do, and which is why you're here. So good for you that you're here. Tell your friends. But then when you're here, you know the information, you still pick the wrong doctor. You didn't mean to, but you did it anyways. You get your claim denied because most doctors, all 6 categories, get claims denied. So you got to pick an OWCP doctor, and that's not easy. I told you to search Google, OWCP injury doctor in your city and state. I told you about ACS, which is a headache, but sometimes it's got results. And you can call us, and we'd be happy to help. You could even talk to your coworkers and say, "Hey, did you have a doctor that got your claim accepted?" If the answer to your claim is, "Was it accepted?" is no, that's not your doctor, okay? Because you're going to be the next denial. So there's ways we can help you with that, but you've got to make that choice. You got to know you don't have to go to the company doctor, you don't have to go to the agency doctor, you don't have to go to the VA doctor, the urgent care, the ER, your own private doctor, or any chiropractor, okay? You got to go to an OWCP doctor. So let's say you found one. You thought they were the great doctor, but your claim keeps getting denied, and you want to change doctors. So the deal is this. There's a rule that says you can request a change of treating doctor. You have to give the reason why, and you have to say who you want to change to and send that to your claims examiner. But what's happening is the claims examiners are saying no. They have the right to refuse your change of treating doctor. You chose a specialist to go, as your treating doctor. You picked an orthopedic surgeon because you had a sprained ankle and you thought an orthopedic doctor was the way to go. That's not even surgical, but we see it all the time. Don't pick an orthopedic doctor. Let your OWCP doctor refer you to one. You're still going to get there if you need to. But you're at the specialist, okay? The orthopedic doctor is a specialist. And you find an OWCP doctor, one of our doctors even, okay? Proven, nearly 100% acceptance rate, but they're general practitioners who specialize in OWCP. And the claims examiner says, sorry, we don't see any reason to take you from that specialist to a general practitioner. Denied. Well, your specialist specializes in denied claims.
Yeah.
This general doctor specializes in accepted claims. But you're stuck. So, what's plan B? Because plan A was pick the right doctor. Plan B was change treating doctor. So we're at plan C. Plan C is get your doctor to write a letter to the claims examiner requesting to be removed from the case.
Yeah.
The rule says, and that request shall be granted. But now here's what they're doing. They're saying, okay, we're going to pick the doctor for you. So this makes my blood boil because you have the right to initial selection of physician. Your doctor, even though you said, hey, doc, do you want to get off this case? Whatever the reason, they said yes and wrote the letter. And so now you're back to initial selection. There's no rule for this. There's nowhere that says if your doctor removes himself from the claim, you can go pick your other doctor. And there's no rule that says you can't go pick your other doctor. It's vague. It doesn't exist. It's not written down anywhere. So now you've gotten to the point where this doctor that keeps getting stuff denied is no longer on your case. Now you can't pick a doctor. You still got to try, okay? Still try. Just go to the next doctor. Let them tell you no once you're there. Let that doctor start writing your narrative, okay? For sure, let them write your narrative because you need your claim accepted. And then what are they doing, okay? Somebody mentioned nurse case managers. There's a nurse case manager epidemic out there. We're seeing it more and more in more cities and states around the country where nurse case managers are coming into the office and telling patients that they have to go to another doctor, which is totally crap. Okay, like we've got offices where the physical therapy is done by a chiropractor because letter D of the rule says chiropractors can do services in the nature of physical therapy, okay? And so a case or a case manager, nurse case manager, comes into the office and says, this is a chiropractic office, you can't be here. The MD works there too, okay? Look, what are you doing? They don't have any right to take you from the doctor. Look,
No.
You found the right doctor, your claim's getting accepted. They don't have the right to take you. So if they tell you to leave, do not leave. You can write a letter to the claims examiner requesting that that nurse manager be taken off your case.
Yeah.
And they'll be removed. Okay, that's what Eric told us to do. So remove that case manager. They don't have your best interest in mind, okay? They're breaking the rules. They don't have the right to take you from there. But then it gets worse. Today, I'm not going to say where or who because there may be some legal action on this, but a case manager came into a doctor that I know and I trust and I would send my own family to and said, I think you should do a referral to a orthopedic doctor for a second opinion. And, the doctor said, well, let's talk to the patient. The patient said, but I don't want surgery. I don't want to go to an orthopedic doctor. I'm not going to have surgery. And our doctor said, look, don't make waves. Just go. Let's see what they have to say. Maybe it'll be helpful. The patient went because the case manager wanted them to go. The doctor encouraged them to go. They went, came back. But guess what the case manager did? They said, well, since you got referred over, this new doctor you went to is now your doctor of record.
Oh, yeah.
That's now your treating doctor. The case manager encouraged them to leave and then made them stay. There's no rule for this. This is unprecedented. I've never even heard of this before. So there may be legal action coming. I hope that there's legal action coming. I hope there's a way to do legal action against that individual. Okay? Not so much the agency, because that's a bear. But that individual who broke the rules, who violated trust, definitely acted in bad faith, and caused that person to have to go to another doctor and now fight about it.
Yep.
So these are the things that happen all because you went to the wrong doctor up front. So I beat you guys up on this, and I don't mean to, but you got to make a good, smart decision. If you did nothing else but just call us first and at least try, we'll try to find someone who we think can help you, even if it's not our doctors. We don't care. We've told lots of people to go to other doctors because it's in your interest to go someplace else. It was closer. But you got to make an effort yourself, okay? And all of you got to get together and say, hey, what doctor did you have? Was your claim accepted? Who did you go to? Was your claim accepted? You all need to talk. In your union meetings, this should be a topic. What doctors in here have gotten a claim accepted? Let's discuss it. Because you got to stop getting these doctors to get your claims denied, because it's an uphill battle to get to the next doctor. And we're here. You're in a fight, okay? This is not just a tagline. Seriously, you're in a fight, and we're not with you. But it's a rough fight. You got us, you got the doctors, and you. Hopefully, you got the unions too. But you're going to have to fight for yourself a little bit more. So all of you got to get together and figure out who in your area, what doctors in your area have a record of getting claims accepted. Okay? And we're training doctors all over. Can we talk about that now?
Yeah, go ahead. And I'll end it with the rest of the
Okay.
stuff.
So check this out.
Wait. A lot of you are asking about Buffalo, anything in New York and New Jersey. We don't know anyone. We don't have anyone trained, but we are doing something really big. I'll have Chris, because he's excited to talk about it.
So I just talked to a doctor in Queens. We're trying to get something done so this doctor agrees to get trained. If so, that'll be the first doctor in New York. So we're working on it. We just sent out 350 postcards to doctors in California. Okay, we're trying to recruit doctors for you out in the West Coast. We've got, 4 or 5 locations that we're working on ourselves to expand federal injury centers. We're doing everything we can to grow this so that you have more places to go to, more options. Your biggest problem is you don't have enough options. And I can't tell you what an overwhelming job or task this is for me to try to grow this thing for you, to find doctors that'll do it and actually do a good job.
Yeah.
We're changing our training manual. We're making it all digital. We're creating a website and an app so doctors can easily get trained, so they have the information right at their fingertips like you do if you get Twitter. We're really sort of expanding and upping our game too, because you need a lot of doctors. You need way more than you have. I've trained doctors like 25 in 13 states, and it's not even scratching the surface. So we're working on it. 350 postcards sent out to California. We're going to do that a dozen times, and there's another 350 that we're going to send out to. We're going to start doing this in various states, going west to the east, and we're promoting in New York, and we're looking at areas through the middle of the country to open up ourselves. You need the help, and we know it. We're working on it.
Yeah, I'm going to post the list of all the doctors that we have with federal injury centers and their location, and I'm also going to post the ones that Chris has trained. The one in Greensboro is Dr. Roosevelt Smith. He is a chiro. Chris did educate him and get
he's
him
a straight
on board.
up killer too.
Yeah, he's
just
really
like Dr.
good.
On in Houston.
You can go to a chiro. You're going to wind up seeing the MD as well. So don't get scared when somebody tells you about the chiro thing.
Yeah, and that leads me. So I said that about Dr. On and about Dr. Roosevelt Smith, that they're, don't take this the wrong way, I'm not a violent man, I don't encourage murder, but they are straight up killers when it comes to OWCP, okay? They get claims accepted, okay? Their offices are where denied claims go to die, all right? These things get accepted. But, Dr. Toll in Indiana, Dr. Patron in Chicago, same thing, forget about it. Out in Tucson, the doctor out there wrote a report, and when we were on our road trip last week, I read this report, I couldn't believe it. So this is the best report I've ever seen, and I've seen all the good ones, okay? But this guy took so much time to guarantee this thing got accepted. That's what it takes. There's not enough of these guys out there, okay? But I can name others, okay? We've trained doctors to get this done. And so we're just working on that. We're trying to get more and more and more of these doctors that are just, warriors for OWCP. And if they're not willing to do that, they're not my kind of doctor. And they're not going to be your kind of doctor.
Yeah, so understand the program isn't free. It has a price
tag. It can't
tag
be. I got to get paid to do something because this is free.
Yeah, so when there's a price tag to it, that allows us to come out and do the conventions and the union meetings and all of that. So there is a price. We are able to do that and educate and train the doctors. So
let me add on to that, because we get a lot of people from unions that ask us, how do you get paid? They think there's some fraudulent thing going on.
As always.
Yeah, well, look, we've never asked you for money. That's a clue. When you go to the doctors we recommend, they never ask you for money. That's a clue. We never pay you or anybody else to get you to come to our offices, so that's a clue. It's always your choice. You know, here's a phone number, you call. Here's a website, you check it out. You don't have to, okay? We don't offer anything except for knowledge and education. And so there is a way to get paid. So we are consultants to doctors. And so doctors hire consultants all the time. When I used to manage the largest DOL clinic or OWCP clinic in the country, I paid 2-3 consultants a year. That's how I met one of my partners. He was one of my consultants. He was brilliant. And so doctors still is. Doctors love consultants. And so because they like to learn new things, new ways to make money, new ways to grow their business, new ways to attract new patients. And so that's what I am to them. And so the more of these doctors I can help, the more of you I can help for free. That's the big picture. And so we're super excited about it. It's a ton of work. It is so much work. It's hard. And I get calls at midnight sometimes from doctors that are like, hey, can you help me with this report? I said, hey, does the wife know you're out of bed? Go back to bed and call me tomorrow. But I pick up the phone. So, you know, anyways, it's a big job. We love it. Don't feel bad for me. But you got to try to select better doctors, and I'm trying to give better doctors to you. And, you know, let us get out and teach you. Tell your unions to let us in because it's free and there really is no strings attached.
Hey, Douglas, that was the really sweet comment. The information and your dedication to this program is unbelievable. That's very sweet.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that acknowledgement.
We hope that more federal employees will watch and see this and share, so more of you get educated, and like Chris always says, that you guys don't end up in this black hole. So with that
and knowledge
said,
is power.
It is.
So good job being here.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
So with that said, tonight we went over the CA7, what it's all about, what you need to attach, CA17, CA16. A lot of you didn't even know what a CA16 was, never got one.
You got to get your CA16 or file a grievance after 4 hours.
Yep. FMLA, MMI, and schedule award. I will go ahead and list all the doctors and Eric Blowers' information. A lot of you are asking about his fee. We don't know what his fee is. He does give a free 10-minute consultation on the phone.
But it's the easiest fee to pay of all the lawyers I've ever heard.
He's the most cheapest attorney compared to the other federal attorneys out there, and he's very humble, sincere, and he used to be
a federal employee.
FBI agent, and he did this because he saw the need. So, and all of those that have the questions, if it's concerning your own personal issue, go ahead and message us.
Yeah, send a private message through Facebook. We'll get to it ASAP, okay? Don't get too impatient and frustrated with us. We know this is urgent for you, and we're doing the best we can to get to it.
So I pinned our Federal Injury Center's website at the bottom with my phone number. The 877 goes to me. If I don't answer, it's because I'm in a meeting, I'm on the phone, or we're doing something. Our Twitter account is named
at Fed Injury Center, the @ sign, Fed Injury Center. You know, there's 2.8 million federal employees plus, and I'm not even touching 700 followers. So I don't know what the deal is, but get over your, aversion to Twitter and just get it because it's critically important. But don't just get it for yourself, okay? Walk into your break room, post something on the wall that says at Fed Injury Center. Walk around to your coworkers and say, hey, take a minute, get Twitter. Get on this. It's so important. I don't want anything for it. Nobody needs to comment to me. I don't need to thank you. I don't need any of that stuff. What I need is for you to have the info and share it with someone else because I can only share it with you if you're watching. So I need you to share it with everybody you know. Everybody share it with 10 people. Think about it. You help 10 people get this information, then it won't be too late when they get hurt because they'll already have it. Okay? So tomorrow, please, or tonight, tell 10 people. Be as adamant as...
Yeah, and just to let you guys know what's going on. Okay, we won't be on next week.
We won't?
No, we're not going to be on next week because we are preparing to leave to go to Connecticut for the Connecticut Rural Carrier Convention. We will be leaving Friday or Saturday, and the convention is on the 3rd or the 3rd or the 4th.
I'm going to get, an hour and a half class?
Yeah, we're educating on an hour and a half class.
I got a new sport jacket with palm trees on the inside. It's like this custom jacket. You know they're the same price as anything else, but I got palm trees on the inside because I love palm trees. So you guys watch for that one.
Oh my God, look for his freaking palm tree jacket that he got
It's on the inside. It's black on the outside.
I'll have him flash it and I'll take a picture and post it. So You know, the next day is Halloween. We're actually looking for our Halloween costumes. You guys can find our pictures on Facebook and Instagram. We are also on Instagram at Fed Injury Center. So if you get on Instagram, you could tweet at Fed Injury Centers.
Go to Twitter.
You could tweet with us. And don't follow anybody else. Just follow Chris.
Yeah,
like
really, don't follow anybody else. I mean that, not as a joke. Don't waste your time.
Yeah.
Look, you can waste a significant portion of your life if you get buried in social media. Like, she's like, hey, did you see the thing on Facebook? Nope. Hadn't been on in 3 days.
Yeah, I hop on. I know a lot of you tag my name on the rural carrier sites and whatever sites, and I'm very thankful. I always reach out, and I try to help as much as we can. There's only so much that we can do as being Chris and Gini. We have to shift you over. But normally we have the answers, and if we can't find you a doctor, we're very sorry.
Yeah, but we're trying.
Offices are coming next year. We should have triple the offices, maybe not federal injury centers, but more offices.
And I'm thinking about franchising federal injury centers because that'll actually make it easier. A lot of doctors are interested in being part of this. And so maybe, you know, whatever it takes so I can give you many more doctors, exponentially more. That's what I want to do. Whatever that takes. So we're working on it.
Yeah, when you see us doing our strategic planning at the beach.
Hey, that's a real thing.
We are actually sitting there.
Thinking
of all different ways that we could help you guys and get doctors in your area.
That's my happy place.
So we look forward to seeing you guys with your Halloween costumes next Thursday. We look forward to meeting
we'll show you ours. Ours are pretty cool.
He got like 4 different outfits.
I'm going to wear them all.
You know. And we look forward to meeting all the Connecticut rural carriers. Yep. You'll get to meet Derek. You'll get to meet Tom, our partners over in Massachusetts. Derek, if you're on, please put your phone number down. I know there's somebody that asked from New York. They'll come to the Massachusetts office.
Derek accepts 2 a.m. phone calls.
Yes, he does. Derek is going to kill us. Get doctors in New Jersey, please. If there's a doctor that you know that is interested in doing the program, have them reach out to me. My phone number is pinned down below.
I only like nice people with good hearts that are willing to transform their business to make it run good for you.
Yeah, and those of you that, Kim, that's really sweet. Those of you that are telling your presidents and then the president's telling you that, you know, you guys have an in-house OWCP person, hey.
Use them.
Use them. Use your NBAs. Use your district reps. Use whatever you guys can.
Whatever you can get. You need the information.
Yes.
I don't care where you get it. If you don't get it from here, get it someplace, but get it from here.
We understand not everybody wants us at their union meeting. We understand that presidents have...
No, 97% of people surveyed want us at their union meeting.
Well, yeah. And a lot of you have to
number.
understand, we can only do so much. If your president doesn't want us to come or the national rep is, you know, telling us no, we can't do anything. But
somebody said it was illegal to work with us.
Yeah, that's not true.
Ask me if we're breaking the law right now.
Yeah.
Because you're working with us.
And, okay. Well, with that, we will be back the following week. And that following weekend, we will also be heading the 10th through the 9th through the 11th.
To see my brother from another mother, Tim.
We'll be in Ohio.
And Mark.
For the Rural Carrier Convention there. And we are coming with the Federal Injury Centers of Ohio in a city coming soon next year.
Working hard on that one.
So with that said, everyone, have a great night. We will see you back in 2 weeks.
We'll miss you.
So everyone have a great night and message us your personal questions and I'll go ahead and post of all of our locations and Eric's information.
All right, bye.
So everybody have a great weekend.
3, 2, 1, bye.
Bye.